All right. Hi there, everybody. Zach from Coherence, and today we are going to do another migration from a proprietary platform as a service, in this case, Vercel, to your own cloud. In this case, Google Cloud Platform using Coherence. I'll show you how you can do this in just a few minutes. So here's what I've got. I've got one of the Vercel starter repos, this admin dashboard template. I chose this because it uses Postgres, and so it's a realistic example of a non-trivial app you might have running on Vercel that you want to move to your own cloud. So this is just the forked Vercel repo. I've got it deployed here on Vercel, and in this case, I'm using Neon as the database. So what I did for that is went to settings. I set up a Neon database. Grab my credentials from the dashboard, made a environment variable for Postgres URL, which is something I got from the env local example in this repository, all documented by Vercel. There's a couple other options here for integrating Neon and Vercel. What we're doing here is the most basic possible thing, just one Neon database connected to on one branch, connected to one deployment in Vercel. And just for this project, they also have an integration where Neon has an app they'll install that will auto-create for different preview deployments and other environment types, new branches automatically. And then further than that, there's even a Postgres offering directly from Vercel Postgres, which will do the same behavior as the integration, but you don't even need to have a Neon account. They'll bill you through Postgres, through Vercel. They'll charge you a lot more money than Neon does directly, and they'll do some of the work for you. In that case, you're the most locked in. I'm going with the simple example. Coherence actually has documented on our site a similar integration to the Vercel third-party integration from Neon that will automatically create new environments for your branches as you spin up branch environments and spin them back down. Can apply database seeding, all the other Coherence things that Vercel doesn't even really offer built in. And so, that's a further example that you could follow our documentation to set up beyond what we're going to cover today. But yeah, we're going to look at this deployment. This is what's in the database right now. We'll see it on the front end here. This is the deployment of the site. So this is this admin playground, examples of some cool charts. And then this is the two rows that are in the table, which is going to match what's in the Neon console here. And yeah, so you can filter this. If I put 2, it's doing this. It's talking to the database. And so the idea is we're going to go ahead and set this thing up on Coherence. So starting right about now. So what I've done is I've got a Google Cloud project I'm going to deploy this to. You could also have an AWS account. No different in the experience we're going to go through. Choose my region. I'll go with US East, and I'm going to stick with the branch main and the repo pasted in there. I've already installed the GitHub app. I've done these migrations a lot with my GitHub account, but you would click these 2 buttons. We're now going to head over here and authorize this service account. I'll make this thing an owner. Generally we cover in our documentation the different options you have as far as scoping the Coherence role. Ultimately, as you just saw, you're in control of giving this role in your own project. You can revoke it at any time and audit what it does. We own this service account, and for production, you might scope it down more. So I need some other variables. If you noticed on my admin dashboard, when I went to settings, I did have some other environment variables. These are supposed to be very secret, so don't look at them. Import some of these. This is just M file syntax over here. And this one. Okay, I want to import these. This will create secrets in my cloud automatically. Coherence is managing that. I can obviously edit those similar to the Vercel interface. We'll see it on the other side of onboarding, but in Coherence, and scope them to different environments and things like that. That's all stored directly in my cloud. In this case, Google Cloud as secrets. And yeah, let's go ahead. What we're doing here is something pretty cool. We're generating our Coherence YAML, which, we've got a bunch of examples and things in our docs that I could have read, a lot of documentation about it. But we've got an AI agent that's going to do an analysis of your repository and the code and existing configurations, try to generate a configuration file for us that we'll usually have to tweak. It's a pretty beta feature set, but excited for you to check it out and us to get better from the experience. So yeah, this takes a few minutes. This used to take hours when you do it by hand in some cases. If you get someone from Coherence on the phone, we can do it in just a few minutes together, even without this tool. But yeah, for a lot of people, this saves a lot of time, so it's pretty involved. But excited to see what comes out. Okay, so we've got a back end, we've got a front end. So this actually won't have a separate front end and back end, even though it is like a hybrid application. In this case, the next service is serving everything. Did pick up that we have a Postgres. In this case, we're using Neon, but talk a little bit about this in our docs about this migration that this video will be hosted on. But in addition to just using Neon as we are as an environment variable and to our Coherence or Vercel Neon integration, another option is to not use Neon in the Coherence case, right? And to use a server provided by the cloud, managed cloud platform. In Google's case, it's called Cloud SQL. In Amazon's case, it's called RDS. But you can totally use those services as well, and this would give you that. And this gives you that same branch behavior that Neon does, but directly on the cloud. Has different cost profiles and performance, and doesn't do the branching as directly. Coherence gives it that feeling in terms of loading seed data in. But there's trade-offs. We're happy to discuss them with you. A lot of them are in our docs, and yeah, definitely something to think about. In this case, we're not going to use this though. The rest of this looks right. I don't think we need /API because I think this will serve without the front end, just right from the root. So yeah, the GPT agent did a pretty good job here overall. You got two options for managing a config, git opt style in the repo, or managing in the UI. Choose to manage in the UI. All right, so now on this last step of onboarding, Coherence is going to just show me what I've configured in the last step. So in this case, just one service called backend was detected, which is right. I do need a health check endpoint by default that returns anything from 200 to 399, so including redirects and things is valid out of the box. And the root URL in this case will suffice. If I needed to, there is a property to override that, and so we could go ahead and set that if we needed to, but that should be okay. And then by default, the next server does listen to the port environment variable, but that's something that Coherence does require just so we can scale these things to different kinds of deployment surfaces and they work properly. Most applications super easy and out of the box. And then, yeah, like once I hit configure, it's going to obviously make me confirm because this is going to do things, but this will take between 7 and 30 minutes. We'll be waiting for that to happen. So I'll click proceed. We'll get into a loading state, and then we will come back to this video in a few minutes when we're ready. All right, so yeah, on this infrastructure logs tab for my all my preview environments, which is all my non-production environments on Coherence, I'm able to see what it was created in my cloud. Awesome, it succeeded. And as Coherence modifies these resources in my cloud, the Google Cloud account I set up during onboarding, over time, I'll be able to track all the history of it here. You can see the variables that we added during onboarding here. And I've got my environment here. I'm going to go ahead and submit a build, which is just like creating a deployment in something like this in Vercel. And we're going to let that run. And then we will hopefully see our site working just like this one, but hosted on my own Google Cloud project. So yeah, excited to see that in just a few minutes. All right, so it's about 7 minutes later. This build will get faster as it caches after the first run, but we do a lot of work at Coherence to show you where you're spending time on your builds in terms of queue time and runtime in different areas. We also aggregate this as part of our analytics. So you have general usage data, aggregated build performance data about these runtimes and by stage over time, as well as PR velocity, another kind of release velocity and size information similar to Dora. There's space metrics that are really cool. A lot more to go into about Coherence you can find throughout the site. But yeah, what I want to show you now is we've got a working deployment of on Google. SSL certs can sometimes take a few minutes to provision. I don't even think that'll be a problem here. But yeah, as you can see, we've got a working deployment here using the Coherence sites URL. I can add a custom domain, just like on Vercel, to this application right here. But this will filter and work just like the Vercel one did, and we're migrated. So from here we could do more advanced Neon integration using the Coherence documentation. If I go to the integrations, we've got some examples of how to do this for Neon. And this would let me automatically create preview branches, including doing things like GitHub integration. So these comments just showed up on PRs with certain labels. And we're happy to help get that stuff set up, as well as static environments for things like staging or connecting production. We help you deploy that into a different Google Cloud or AWS account, so you get best practices for security and compliance right out of the box. So yeah, excited for you to check it out, and please get in touch via the get in touch options up on our documentation if you got any questions. Thanks, look forward to hearing from you.